I am back in the second part of a three-part series. So this is the instructional technology component, and we ran over a little bit on the last set. It ran right up to the time, about 5 seconds over, but that's okay because there was so many great things going on. And this one is going to be just as jam-packed. I'm so excited. We have some elite national learners with us here today and elite national leaders with us here today. We are so excited. I have Sanal Patel and Nairi Clark. They're coming to us. They travel all over the globe to present. They do in person, they do virtual, and we're just so honored to have you here to give some great tidbits for the great folks in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So let's get started with some of these tools. They're amazing tools, and these two will dazzle you. They will bring it, and we are so excited. So let's make it happen, team.
Of course. Hello, everyone. So good to see you all. Well, I can't see you all, but you can see us. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, can you see
Right.
that?
Yep, we are there. You are
Awesome.
good to go.
Okay. So today you are here to share, to learn about HyperDocs for personalized instruction. And through this presentation, we have some awesome tools to share with you. Let's start off with a little introduction. Dr. Sampson shared a little bit. I'm Sonal Patel. I'm the program manager for digital learning and computer science education for San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools out here in California. And I'm also a presenter and a national keynote speaker. I'm a doctoral candidate currently, and I have worked in education for 18 years. I used to be a classroom teacher. I've worked in multiple different settings from K through 12, to be honest with you. I've tried administration, and now I'm in the professional development world and absolutely love doing this work. I'm going to turn it over to my wonderful co-presenter, Nairi Clark.
Hello, everyone. I am Nairi Clark. I'm a curriculum program specialist in EdTech. And also, you see those acronyms GATE, which stands for Gifted and Talented Education. Also, a presenter and national keynote speaker, a doctoral candidate. Fun fact, Sonal and I are actually getting our doctorate together, so pursuing those together. So that's been amazing. 24 years in education. I span from kinder all the way up to fourth grade because I like them huggable and smaller than me. Oh, and adjunct teacher. So I completely skipped secondary and went straight to adjunct.
You'll get to learn more about Neri. She's so huggable. She gives the biggest, greatest hugs. Tell you right now. So you can
Absolutely.
follow us, but you can absolutely follow us both on social media as well. We are on social media, so feel free to tweet us out. We love to follow you all back and ensure that we are continuing the sharing beyond this. Capture, curate, share. So our outcomes for today is to learn and experience each element of the HyperDoc lesson design cycle. You'll see what a HyperDoc is in a moment, so don't let that word scare you. It simply is an interactive platform for students to get the best digital tools and platforms out there to meet the needs of all of our learners. And then I'm going to show you the 5-step lesson design process to analyze existing HyperDocs. And between Nairi and I, we're going to show you some transformative learning experiences with the use of technology and show you ways that we can curate, create, and share through interactive learning as students engage in various levels of depth of knowledge curriculum. Also, we can personalize learning experiences for students. Over to you, Dr. Sampson.
All right. So you guys are speaking the language of United We Learn. So in Kentucky, in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, we have this Kentucky Equity Playbook. So this work is really supporting some of the components for that playbook. So it's the application of instructional technology. How do we apply this stuff? How do we actually do it? We know the technology is out there. And then looking at the evidence-based research for visible learning effect size. So what's the effect size of some of the stuff that we're really going to talk about today? And then also the ability to go to the What Works Clearinghouse and find out, hey, where are the items that the research says that works? And how do we take this instructional technology pieces to put it all together? And so with that said, in the great state of Kentucky, there's also the Kentucky MTSS process, the Kentucky multi-tier system of supports. that's out there. And that's also being supported by the Kentucky Equity Playbook, where student achievement is the center point of all conversation. And so we also look at assessments. We look at formative assessments and feedback, differentiation of instruction, some scaffolding, looking at small group instruction, and how to align the standards with what we're trying to do, and using the technology to make it happen. And just like many other states out there, they have their 3 tiers. That's kind of part of that system. And in Kentucky, it's very well organized. There's a website. If you look at the bottom, there's a website where they're cited, and you can go to the Kentucky site and see the plethora of information on the KY-MTSS process and how to actually make it happen. And so now we're going to talk a little bit more about the visible learning and the effect size. So over 25 years of research, 108,000 studies, and we're looking at 300 million students around the world to figure out exactly what makes the difference, what makes the needle move in the learning experience for kids. And the magic number for that is 0.4. So anything above 0.4 has a great positive effect. So now teachers are saying, well, give me everything that's above 0.4 because I want to make my kids grow. Nobody says I want all the stuff below, right? It's nice to know that these are the things below, but we really want to know the stuff that's above the line that we can actually try out. And we're going to talk about that today.
Did you want to do this one?
Yep, if we do the next one. Yep. And so here's the What's Clearinghouse effect that we're going to look at. So here's what the research says. And we're going to look at 3, 5, and 7 in the What's Clearinghouse. So 3 is about the combination of graphics. 5B is about the use of quizzes. And 7 is about the deeper questions and deeper thinking skills. And the next slide, I believe, has the visible learning effect sizes. So here are all the items for the visible learning effect sizes. They're color coded. And so as you're watching the show, you can pause, you can rewind, you can, zoom in and all that kind of good stuff. But we'll also tag this color code sequence throughout the presentation. So you can see this specific tool goes with the purple. This specific tool goes with the orange. This specific tool goes with the green. And it just aligns it all for any teacher out there. Now the teacher can say, hey, I want a 0.061 effect size. Boom, I'm going to use this. I want a 0.55. I'm going to use this. I want a 0.73. I'm going to use this. So I can't wait to show everybody out there what you guys have put together and what we've talked about over the last few weeks.
Beautiful. Thank you. So moving forward, I just want to start with this quick warm up here. I want you to think about our learning styles, our own personal learning styles, as we consider all the depth of background and experiences that these students bring in and their abilities that they bring into the classroom. So what is your personal learning style? If you would like, at some point, go ahead and just expand this image, click on the link, expand it a little bit and have a look to see which learning style you might be. So I consider myself as a social person. I learn well when I collaborate with others. I also like things represented very visually for myself. And then what are some of my learning needs? I self-diagnose as ADHD, and I think for me, what I need is to be able to go at my own pace, to be able to go through and multitask as needed and take notes wherever I need to and look at a different variety of visuals. And speaking of learner motivations, I not only really appreciate when content is delivered in so many different ways, but I'm also motivated by the why, right? Like when I understand why I'm learning something, I am super motivated. So I'm going to turn it over to Nairi. What are some of your learning styles, needs, and motivations?
This was one of my first times looking at this, Sano, and I really liked looking at the different ways that people learn. And I figured that I'm more of a combination, that visual and social need to go hand in hand for me. So I need both of those to really feel like I could to hone in what I'm learning. My needs, I like repetition. So I like to be able to come back to something and kind of digest it again. So that spiraling works well with me. And I'm so motivated by collaboration. I work best when I work with others. I like time alone, but I really love to be able to speak it out and talk it through with other people.
I could see that. We do that a lot. So thanks for sharing that. I almost forgot to share with you that we do have a bit.ly link. So please do go on this bit.ly link that's on the corner of every slide I'm going to share with you. It's bit.ly/hyperdoc for PL, which stands for personalized learning, and it's all lowercase. If you click on that, it'll actually do a forced copy for you of this whole entire slide deck, which means everywhere where you can actually interact with this form of HyperDoc slide. This is a HyperDoc slide deck, right? You can actually go ahead and input any of your notes into this. So you will get an opportunity to edit this slide and add your personal learning style, needs, and motivations. And you'll get another opportunity to add and click on links and all of that good stuff. So please do click on that bit.ly/hyperdocs for PL, type it into your URL bar, and it should give you a forced copy of this slide deck. So we're going to go straight into learning about HyperDocs through one part of the lesson design cycle, which is engage. When we think about engaging our students, we're thinking about hooking our students in. And I want to give credit to the people that developed HyperDocs. Highfield, Hilton, and Landis developed the HyperDoc lesson design cycle process and the HyperDocs website in 2016. And I haven't looked back since. I used it in my own classroom. I used it as an instructional coach and an administrator. And now I use it in my work in professional learning. So please let me just give that credit to these wonderful ladies that developed HyperDocs. What is a HyperDoc? Some of these elements need to be pointed out when we think about HyperDocs, because it's really about how can we best personalize our learning experiences for our students? How can we help them to be able to understand a unit or a lesson in advance, which is our number one here. This is an example, by the way, of a HyperDoc and what it could look like without the elements in there. It just gives you a little description of what each of the lesson design cycle process elements, the components of good lesson design might include in there. And what we're going to do today is we're going to share some of the technology platforms that you might include in each of these areas, as well as some samples and templates. In addition, HyperDocs really does help us to encourage independence, because what we're saying to them is go at your own pace. You may be able to collaborate with people throughout this, but you are independent. You have that student agency in order to be able to make some careful choices as you go through this HyperDoc. Let me also point out this one here about differentiating and giving students choice. This is what HyperDocs is about. It's about really helping to meet all of the learning needs in our classrooms, whether it's students with special educational needs with a 504 plan, whether it's students that need that extension. My own son, I have a 10-year-old, and he continually needs pushing. He's a GATE student. He needs some different types of activities. We could think about including that in our HyperDocs. And of course, we talked about the own pace, but we can also really flexibly design our lessons and integrate the different digital medias within our lessons. And I'll show you how we can do that. So on this slide is something for you to help support you as you go through this as we go through this presentation. So when I click on basic lesson plan template, you go ahead and make a copy for yourself. Actually, I'm going to X out this because I did already make a copy, so I can show you what that looks like. And you'll see, oh no, I didn't make a copy. Yes, I did. I had it ready to make a copy. So I'm going to make a copy right now. And it's that forced copy again. And as you listen to us, if some of these elements stand out to you, you can go ahead and make notes, right? So when I start talking about objectives of creating a HyperDoc, it is really necessary for us to provide objectives. When I talk about what you might include in explore, explain, apply, you might want to write some notes based on that. And you might want to go through each of these 5 steps to be able to design the very best HyperDoc that you might create. We have various different templates here. So as I'm going through this presentation, you might decide that you want to engage in creating your own HyperDoc. So you can feel free to use any of these templates that are provided by the wonderful HyperDoc gals. They call themselves the HyperDoc gals. That's why I'm calling them the same. Nairi, did you want to add anything?
One of the things that is so impactful with HyperDocs is you do not ever have to start from scratch, which is why Sonal is showing you those templates. We call it remixing. So be sure, be okay with being able to just take an idea, a template of a HyperDoc, and remix it. You might like some of the elements and then just change a few things. So as you look through this, think about ways that you can just start with something that's already done and just modify along the way.
Exactly. So feel free to take some notes. Thank you so much. And so this is my first tool that I'm going to share with you. Within Engage, you might use different ideas for Engage. So engaging is about hooking students in with engaging ideas. And you may use any of these ideas for engagement. For my specific engagement, I might use an EdPuzzle. Throughout this presentation, as I hit some of these lesson design cycles, I decided to focus in on just one platform that I absolutely love. And then I included a couple others that I love as well within that. So for this one, I'm going to talk about EdPuzzle and how we can inspire curiosity and build excitement through the use of this tool. If any of you have never used EdPuzzle, you are going to be blown away right now. EdPuzzle is a way for you to utilize videos with content and actually embed some specific voiceovers or notes or even questions throughout that video so that students can access the content in the best way possible, so that you can personalize instruction for those students, for every single one of our students. Let me just show you how easy it is to use EdPuzzle. So once you've logged in as a teacher, so you do want to log in as a teacher, you can go ahead and discover the content that's already there and remix it, right? So there's this idea of remixing in the ed tech world. You can you can use a video and embed some content within that, or you can create your own content and then upload that and then remix that. For the purpose of this, I am going to remix a video that's already there. Let's just choose one of these that's already in there. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to go ahead and edit it so I can remix it for myself. And what you'll see is there's already questions that have been embedded, but I'm going to imagine that I want to use I want to add one of my own questions to this video. So this is a YouTube video. Think about the times that you have used YouTube videos and you've sent videos to students. They watch it. You have no idea whether they've understood any of that content. You're not sure whether that a student may need some specific explanations. There might be some additional links that you want to share with students. You can do that within a video. You can embed those within this particular video or any videos. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. If I want to add a question, say a multiple choice question to this, I can go ahead and click on multiple choice, add my question in here, add whatever links and images. Just think about that in terms of making learning accessible to our students, right? We think about, for example, our English language learners who appreciate the visuals that we can provide them, right? We can add an image here to help explain the question that you are asking students. You can also add links to add additional insights. Let me ask a question. What is explain your understanding of XYZ. Now, this doesn't lend itself to multiple choice, so I might change this to an open-ended question, right? Because that gives them an opportunity to explain themselves through that question. And I save it, and that question has been added to this video. So if I play this video a little bit, the question comes up immediately because that's the point at which I asked my question. I'm going to hit continue, let the video play. So I'm going to pause that. Now I might want to voice over, right? As a teacher, I might want to add a little bit more oomph to this video, right? Okay, let's see. It's currently blocked because you've got to change it on your settings, and you've got to make sure that it's not a YouTube video. So EdPuzzle used to allow YouTube videos, voiceover. It doesn't currently allow it because of copyright issues. So if you added your own videos to this, you're able to put videos, voiceovers on. You can also use one of the other platforms, such as the EdPuzzle videos that are already embedded in here. You can use those and add voiceovers to that. So this one won't let me. You can also cut your video. And you can do so many different things with it. Let me go back to EdPuzzle and just show you how you can also add your own classes. The great thing about EdPuzzle is once they've answered those questions, you can also view the responses to those questions as well. So you can see those questions, you can grade students based on those questions. You can make sure you create your own new class. You can integrate Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams. So it is platform agnostic. I love that about EdPuzzle. So it's a really great platform, and I absolutely advise that you use it. And then here's some other ones that you might use for engagement. You might use Miro for brainstorming. You may use Mentimeter, which is really a great question to get people thinking. It could be a quick hook, a quick question to students about a particular content area. You might activate prior knowledge with students and use it for that. All right, I'm going to move on to the next section, which is Explore. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can turn it over to Nairi.
Thank you, Sana. I am going to share my screen. One of the things that I noticed in your in EdPuzzle too that you were just highlighting is students had the ability to leave a voice message too, so audio message. So I see that so accessible for the younger grades, students with younger grades too. So thank you for sharing that.
That's a good point. Thank you, Nairi. Yes. So in response to any of their questions, if you want to give them the option to be able to voice record their responses, they can absolutely do that. Thanks for sharing that, Nairi. I almost forgot.
You are welcome. I dare not ask the age-old question. Do you see my screen?
I don't see your screen currently.
Okay. Aha!
There it is. I see it. Yay.
Thank you. So in the Explore section, so Sano's taking you from, activating prior knowledge. So what do students already come in knowing? Or again, like she said, how are you able to hook them? But once you've done that, what is next? And the next part is actually activating that curiosity and allowing them to just explore. So you hook them in, like you get them, okay, yes, okay, I want to learn what you're learning, but now you want them to just dabble in it. So when in the Explore section, this is where you can still give them opportunities to just activate some of that curiosity. And again, you see that wonderful quote from our HyperDoc girls that just is allowing students and allowing teachers and administrators to just allow people to think some more. So, and what does that look like? Let me show you. Here are some examples of ways that we can look at HyperDocs and look at how they have used the Explore section to activate that curiosity. So if I look at this HyperDoc, Sonal and I were looking at this earlier, and it's an informational. So you can see the students are watching and reading and viewing, listening. And we were thinking like, there's just not a lot of student choice in there. However, imagine if you were able to allow them to just explore this HyperDoc, but with someone. So again, when we are building out these HyperDocs, you don't have to think about it being individual. It could be collaborative. So this could be a collaborative HyperDoc where two people are working on it together, and that's a different place where they could add some choice into it. We also have HyperDocs that could be agenda-based. So you could create a HyperDoc for a staff meeting. So this was a staff meeting with GATE teachers. We had an area of engage. How can we engage them? How are we going to hook them into what we were doing? So we gave them some content to look at. So maybe this is something where you want them to read a little bit and then let them digest that. And then exploring, we actually went to go visit some schools and then allowing them to synthesize that learning and give that back to you so that you are able to assess that. So think about HyperDocs not only instructionally, but you could also use this for your staff meetings if you are an administrator or grade levels. And again, HyperDocs in a way for you to think about yourself. So again, this is one about self-care, taking care of yourself, social emotional learning. How can we explore that? And those thinking skills, that breakdown, like Sana was showing, engage and explore, just gives you an opportunity to synthesize those different aspects of your learning there. Do you have anything else to add, Sana?
No, just that on that slide that you were on,
This
feel
one?
free to add your own attributes. No, the one that
Yeah.
the main slide.
Yeah.
Add some attributes that you see, some things that you notice about these HyperDocs that are different to your traditional worksheet. So for example, I saw choice in that very first one. I know Nairi said there wasn't that many choices, but actually if we look under apply underneath, I noticed that there were different options on how they might illustrate their understanding, right? It's about demonstrating their learning in multiple different ways. And you've got bubble map there, concept wheel, and create your own. That's choice
There we
in
go.
itself. So I appreciate choices. I appreciate the visual, the way that it is formatted is so engaging and enticing. So I noticed that about your HyperDoc. I also noticed that it's interactive. I get to interact within this HyperDoc. So thank you for asking.
You're welcome. I just want to show this quick one too. When you said interaction, it sparked my thoughts on creating HyperDocs for young educators as well, and young students. So again, interactive, watch, listen, and read. These are things that students would be able to do. And again, look at the different platforms. So we're talking about tools. We've seen docs used for HyperDocs. We've seen slides used for HyperDocs. So you can create and use the tool that is most comfortable for you to create those in. I want to show you just one aspect of it. This is, again, a HyperDoc that was remixed. So this whole template was from Sarah Landis, and I took different parts of it to remix it. And on this, within the Explore section, there was a Padlet that was created where students had the opportunity. This book is about hair love. Students had the opportunity to kind of go in there and explore different concepts of what hairstyles look like, and it went directly with the book. So again, they are actively exploring. I'm not guiding them. I'm just letting them explore more material to be curious about what's happening before we ever get to that book. All right. Thanks for those attributes, Sonal. So again, here, when we're talking about HyperDocs, you can explore different templates. You do not have to go all in and use this, the basic HyperDoc template. This is the link that Sonal gave you. This has all the parts. If you don't want to go in that detail, or maybe your lesson is it's not that long, you want something real quick where you can just allow them to explore, explain, and apply, that is still a HyperDoc. When in speaking with the HyperDoc girls, they said if you have 4 areas of HyperDocs, if you've shown a place for them to collaborate, communicate, be creative, and show critical thinking, you have a HyperDoc. And each of these templates that Sonal has shared displays all of those aspects of allowing you to get to those 4 critical thinking skills. And
all right, over to me. Thank you so much for sharing, Nairi. So I'm going to move on to the next section, which is Explore. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Get the correct window here. Here we go. Woohoo! Can you see that? All right, let's move past. Okay, we're on Explain. So for Explain, thank you for sharing about Explore. So Explore is really about sparking that curiosity. When we move into Explain, this can be done in different ways. Let's think about different ways to do direct instruction that isn't the same as your norm. Right now, though, I'm going to just be explaining live, and it could be a live introduction like this. It could be a video that you embed into there. I'll show you in a moment what video tool I absolutely love to be able to create our own screencast. But this is about doing direct instruction in creative and engaging ways so that we can create greater access for our students. And in doing that, let's consider UDL just for a second. Universal Design for Learning has a framework that is really about scientific insights on how people learn, right? So when we're designing these HyperDocs, I'm really thinking about what are different ways to engage our students? How can we recruit interest? How can we give students greater choices to promote that enthusiasm and engagement with material? So we're really going to think about how we can do multiple different things here. It might be about fostering collaboration. It might be about, as I said, the choice and autonomy. the authentic nature of that task that we're providing. And then for multiple means of representation, let's think about ways in which we can give students an opportunity to demonstrate their learning in different ways, right? And for us to explain the learning in different ways, because kids need to get, our students really do need to get content in multiple different ways to get to be able to meet the different learning styles that we talked about earlier. And then, of course, action and expression. Let's think about all of our students' learning needs. And a lot of our students do need those specific goals, right? That's just one aspect of multiple means. It's really about the strategic networks and the how of learning. With that, I've got to present this to you. This is happening in California out here. So I know you Kentucky educators will really appreciate it. But a Universal Design for Learning resource flip kit is being designed right now by Placer County in California, and it is available for you to use. I got to tell you that right now. It's public, it's out there, it's being updated continually. But if you're one that likes to be overwhelmed like me and you want to get more tools under your belt, please feel free to look at this website. It is so amazing. You go down here and you select the strand, the UDL strand. So I talked about representation earlier. That was important. And then you select the digital tool and it will just automatically populate many different digital tools that you might use that is about representation. So look at this one. There's a platform called Open Dyslexic, which is about fonts that are being used to support our readers with dyslexia. Right, so you might check that one out. You might check some other sites out. This iPad accessibility, if you're using iPad, the Visnos website for mathematics. So just feel free to peruse that website at your own leisure. I wanted to definitely show you that. And now that explain, let's talk about one tool because I don't want to overwhelm you with all of them. These are 3 of my favorites. There's a lot of favorites. These are 3 of my favorites. Screencastify has become increasingly my favorite. The free version allows you to record 10 videos. You can just delete as, when you don't need them or download them after you've recorded it. The premium version for educators are unlimited videos. It allows for unlimited videos and editing. Let me show you how easy this is. Once you've downloaded the Chrome extension, Screencastify, and it's simply go into the Chrome extension store in Google, type in Chrome extension, Chrome Web Store, and then put in Screencastify and download the extension. Then you'll see in your toolbar. I have it here. Once you've gotten it, you simply decide on what you're going to record. So I'm going to imagine that I'm recording this tab right here. And I definitely want my microphone, but it's going to have to be the inbuilt one right now. I don't have that fancy microphone yet, or I don't have it with me. I might embed my camera. You don't want to see me in that corner, so I'm not going to embed that camera right now, but you might do that. And then you can check to see how much of a countdown you want, right, before that recording actually begins. Do you want a 5-second? Are you more like me that wants to just get with it, or get in it in 3 seconds? Or would you rather take some time and have that 10-second timer before it actually goes into it? And then do you want your drawing tools? Because there's some annotation tools that are absolutely fabulous in Screencastify, which I'll show you in a moment. I'm going to leave it at that and hit record. Right. So it's recording my screen right now. This is a really great way to explain to students how to accomplish a task and personalize in a specific way. Randall sees himself on that video, Nairi as well, they're recording themselves. And I am going to go ahead and use my pen here and point something out. So I'm going to point out to Randall and Nairi. These are some of my favorite tools. And they are the most wonderful tools ever. I might clear that screen now because I don't want to confuse kids. I might use a different color. There are just so many different ways that you can utilize these annotation tools, right? And then you can see them being very, very helpful. I'm going to click stop now so you can see how easy that was. It'll take me straight to my Screencastify page. And over here, I can open it in editor because it does allow you some elements of editing. So you can cut your video a little bit. And you can also copy your video. You can share that link right away. You can integrate it right into Google Classroom. It works seamlessly with Google Classroom because it is a Google Chrome extension. Mm-hmm. My favorite thing that's happened this year is interactive questions, the ability to add interactive questions into this. You can do that now with Screencastify. It's so phenomenal. You can also save it into your Google Drive and export that video. There's some other ideas on what you might include in Explain as well, which I did not go over. So I'm going to go back out of this. Before I go back out of this, you can look at all of your videos by clicking on my videos. I have just 2 videos right now, but if you did want to check them out, you can do it that way. And then I'm going to X out of this. What's really nice is as you're recording, if you wanted to restart your recording, you can do that throughout. You can delete the video right away. You can do just your web camera as well. Love that about it. I don't want to show you that one yet. You got a sneak preview. I'll show you that later. But as I was saying, you can explain to students in multiple different ways and get them really hyped in different formats. You don't always have to do the same typical format. Later on, you may learn a little bit about Nearpod or even Khan Academy in the professional developments. They are amazing professional learning platforms. As a matter of fact, we're going to offer this professional development asynchronously through Nearpod, so you get that to look forward to. All right, for the apply section, this one really excites me because it's really about students learning in multiple different, actually not learning, displaying their content in different ways, right? So they've acquired the content now. You've done some beautiful explanations, but how can they truly apply their learning? There are different platforms for this as well. So I just want you to let's just think of a typical project that you might ask kids to do. You might have them learn about photosynthesis, just a topic I'm going to throw out there. My son's a science geek, and he's got posters of all sorts of science posters around here. And if the traditional way might be the teacher asking the student to write a report on photosynthesis, right? What about if you ramp that up a little bit with different tools and platforms? I'm going to give you one platform that I've absolutely loved. So rather than writing a document or presenting, and you could use Google Slides for presentations, absolutely. But what about if we gave them a choice? And one of those choices were Book Creator. So let me click on Book Creator right now. If you haven't used Book Creator, one of my favorite, actually, I already have it open. One of my favorite platforms. You can go ahead and sign up very easily. Sign in with Google or Microsoft. And once you're there, let me go ahead and sign in. And once you're there, you can allow students to create different books. Now, you can see I've got a few different books here, but it's as simple as add a new book. Let's see, a student wants to create a book that's in landscape. And imagine this story this book was going to be about photosynthesis. So my first page might be an image that represents photosynthesis, or I might just write some text. This is going to test out my spelling a little bit now. Here we go. Yes, I can spell photosynthesis. Let's add a little. I might add some images now, right? So you can select images. You can search for an image. Let's search for an image of photosynthesis. Of course, I pick a topic like that. Here we go. So I might want a plant in there because that represents photosynthesis. Let's see. So there's my first page. I've got an image. I've got a title. Let's expand this image. It's coming up. Let's see. Okay, so now when I click on this, when I click on this here, let's think about different shapes you can add. Let's add more things here. You can add Bitmojis to it if you want to. There's just so many wonderful things. You can have a pen. You can actually write with a pen to make it look a little bit more authentic. And then when we go to this next page here, we might want to record something, right? So we add another image, but the student might record. So think about that for accessibility. They can use their voice as well as text. So they may write something, but the teacher is going to be able to understand what they wrote, even if it doesn't make sense, because they're recording their understanding, right? Think about that for accessibility. So I'm going to go ahead and record, add a little voice note here. Hello, everyone. I just want to share a little bit about photosynthesis. Let me start by, I'm going to stop recording and use that recording. Look at how easy it is to do that. Now, for the sake of time, I'm actually going to go back and show you some of the books that have been created already. And I want to show you one other feature that you're absolutely going to love. So this is one that a student that I was tutoring a little while back created about England. You may have guessed my accent is from England. I didn't say that at the beginning, but I always find people guessing. I've been in the United States for 15 years now, but yeah, it is a UK accent. This is one that a student created to write about England in such a beautiful way. They could have added a voice note to this as well.
Wow.
Randall, you can say something?
Seriously, I really, this entire time, I thought you were from Alabama with your accent.
Really? No, you did not. You did not. I had to point that out. People always get mixed up because I'm Indian, I'm British, and I've been here for 14 years. So I have this little bit of Americanness to me as well. I think. Nairi does not believe I have any American.
She's working on it, everyone.
So what's great about this as well, I have to show you this part. There's so much to share on this. You can take certifications, you can learn a lot more about it, but there are books that are out there that are already pre-created, elementary books, middle school books, high school books. You can look at some of those pre-created books if you like. So let's think of it as favorite weather one. And just check out some of the wonderful creations to give examples to your students. You can also have them read to students, right? Read to me. So isn't that amazing that we can actually share examples to our students so that they can design their own? There's libraries that are out there, right, with multiple different books. Let's look at let's join a library. I want to join another library. Oh, actually, you need a code to be able to join another library, but you might create your own library if you have the upgraded plan. Unfortunately, this one isn't an upgraded plan, but I want to show you how easy it is for you to use this, whether it's upgraded or not. So I have no books in my library currently. But yeah, I mean, it's just, there's some books that are out here that you may want to use, like a Thanksgiving activity book, since Thanksgiving's coming up. You can check those out. And people are just so good about sharing. So if you wanted to remix this book that's already there, you can remix this book into your own library. And let's read it first and remix it. Here we go. And then you hit remix over here. And what I mean by remix is you can add your own little bit to it. Let's select, I want it under my books, copy to my library, go to library, and remix away, add your own little element to it if you want to share this book. Kids can do the same, right? So if kids struggle with the whole process of like having to think from scratch, they can use a video that's already there and start creating away. It's taken a little minute, but you'll see how easy it is to be able to do that when you actually get into it. But I highly recommend Book Creator. It's so simple, so user-friendly. And so I did talk about apply, but really, you know, that apply section, think about problem solving and students demonstrating their learning in different ways. And think about some other ideas that can be used in the apply section. You may use a choice board activity, and I'm not gonna take away from what Nairi is gonna share in a moment, because you can use choice boards in many different lesson design elements, right? This was the apply section. If I take you back to what a HyperDoc looks like, sorry, I'm gonna go back here. We have the apply section here. We got all the way down to apply. Nairi's gonna move forward into the next section in a moment, which is, let's see, here we go. She's gonna move into share. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that you can do that.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, everyone, we are going to wait for the magic that is Randall to populate that share screen. And the whole purpose of sharing is for students to be able, like we're going through this whole design process where they're really synthesizing their learning, but at the end of it, they need to share what they have learned. And there's multiple ways, just like Sonal said, there's multiple ways that we can share. So with looking at our time here, one of these are her favorite 3 tools, everyone. So Sonal loves Padlet, Google Classroom, Google Sites, and she and I use Padlet like crazy, even just for ourselves, just to collaborate with. But think about students being able to share on a Padlet. So I'm going to take you to Padlet and what it looks like. So when you go into Padlet, if I click on Padlet, I think it's going to take me right into my Padlet. Is it? Oh, yes, it's just opening right into my Padlet because I'm already in there. But these are all these different Padlets that I was able to make. When you click, you can join a Padlet or you can also make a Padlet. So if I click on make a Padlet, look at all of these different ways students can share what they've learned. You can do it on a wall, a stream. If you're teaching them about digital citizenship maybe, and they're showing digital citizenship and you want it to look like a Facebook post, I just dated myself, right? So if you want it to look like that, the stream just goes straight through a grid. And guess what? These little eyes actually give you ideas of other ways that people have done it. So they give you little galleries. So it'll give you a little preview of what it looks like. If you wanted to look at map, here's a preview of what a map looks like. So you can have students share what they've learned in any of these formats. If you want to click on, say for instance, I click on wall, then this is how you would be able to actually create that Padlet for yourself. So you could title it, add the description, you can add icons to it, you can change the wallpaper, and Padlet has been kind with their and generous with the amount of personalization that they have given you on this. So you could use solid colors, you could go through and look at gradients, textures, pictures. Look at all of these different pictures that you can have just to add background. I'm going to use Starry Night. I love Starry Night. You can also add your own, so you can really personalize this. I have the collaborative one I have of Sonal and I have a picture of us on of us on that Padlet, just so that it's easy for me to find. But attribution, you can actually have this Padlet have the students' names posted on it. So if you want to, again, you're focusing on that digital citizenship, you can click on this so that their name has to show up. The positions comments, you can have them comment to other people or not. So again, while they're sharing what they've learned, you can allow for them to also comment on each other. So that's still, synthesizing that learning, allowing them to give feedback to each other. So you're not the only person giving feedback. That is classic educator 101 right there, right? You can also allow them to add reactions to it. So maybe they're voting, maybe they're sharing some information and they're voting for the best flyer or the one that resonated or told the theme the best, and maybe they're voting on that. So you can have them react in any way that you'd like. You can also, again, bringing it back to digital citizenship, if you have that one student that you do not want to just take that Chromebook from, but you're teaching that person how to use it correctly, if you need to filter for profanity, it'll replace a word that it thinks is profane with a nice emoji. So you will be able to customize this in any way that you would like. And then when you click next, after you have filtered through it, it will allow you to start posting. So here, Sonal has created a sharing activity where you could come in and actually share on the HyperDocs. So what did you learn about this session? When you click this plus sign here, it will allow you to edit. And again, here's the subject. I can put, it's Nairi. Down here, you could write your remarks. Why is everything capitalized? Write your response here. And then you can add. So if I click on this button right here, it shows you all the different ways that you could add. You can embed a Padlet inside of a Padlet if you wanted to. Screen record, like Sonal said again. So for those accessibilities, you could video record. We have lots of students that may have modifications that are a special day class. You can put that in there YouTube videos. Oh my goodness. Put in a YouTube video and then have them respond to that. So this Padlet, you have one link where you have to go back and all of the business is in one space. So that is what makes this so fantastic. Students love to put in gifts. This could be social emotional learning. Give me a gift of how you're feeling today. You can get a quick scan of everyone. You know, Sonal and Nairi and Randall, we're all starting to get a little sick maybe. So what would our gifts look like if we were putting that in there? So you have all of these ways that you could, I want to show you this really quick too. When you click here, you can embed, say it's a gift. I'm going to see if my Wi-Fi search gifts, happy. Here is my little happy gift. When you click submit, now there is your response. It is that easy. Waiting approval. Do you see this? I think Miss Sonal has a moderated board for us right here, everyone. So you can also moderate your Padlet board. So you can, again, make sure of what the content that is being placed on there, you approve it, and then it's nice and clean. So maybe this is something that you are going to share to your parents, and you want to make sure that it's good. It's in a good spot.
Yeah. And so it's really easy to approve it. Really easy to approve it. I just wanted to add that. You could just hit on it. Yeah.
I see our time, so I want to make sure that we were able to show you your HyperDocs and I'm sorry, where you can share. And those are not just, Padlet is not just the only tool. Again, there's so many different ways that you are able to share using HyperDocs, but that is so powerful because there's so many ways to personalize it.
Absolutely. So I'm going to just go ahead and move into Reflect. I know we don't have that long left, but I just want to show you what the power of using, actually, let me stop sharing. It was the wrong screen. Share my screen, share window.
Thank you all for being patient while we bump back and forth with each other.
Yeah. All right. Can you see that?
Yes.
All right. Let me go into slideshow again and then hit my exit full screen. Here we go. So for Reflect, there are different tools that you can also use. And I'm going to do a real quick review of Quizzes. So Quizzes is a platform that you might use for formative assessment. Our friend Randall put using quizzes to re-expose students to information. Really, this is a really great interactive tool that you can use for students to do quizzes, both individually or, you can have it done as a class, right? Like, so you can actually do a quiz with them as a class, but it's a great thing that you could incorporate into your HyperDoc for Reflect. So imagine if I want to create a quiz, it's as easy as this. I might put brick quiz. And I just really want to point out one amazing accessibility feature in this that you are just going to be blown away by as I do this. I'm going to put for fun. Here we go. And I want to do let's do a multiple choice one. Here we go. So what do the Brits, since we're on the Brit theme here, like to eat? Right? And what I love about this is you can add audio. You can actually record that same question. So that's my favorite feature on Quizzes. What do the Brits like to eat? Stop. And insert it. And so now the voice comes up as well. So kids can listen to the question and they can read the question and you can type your answers here. I don't know. Let's see. Shepherd's pie. Have you ever tried that, Randall or Nairi? Shepherd's pie?
I have not yet.
Fish and chips.
I feel like you should be cooking for us soon.
Yes, it is so good.
Biscuits and crisps. I'm going to put crisps. You can all look them up. And then let's say my favorite, actually, I should have, it's all of them. So actually for this one, I might put all of the above, right? And so the correct answer isn't fish and chips. It's actually Brits like to eat all of the above, right? That's my first question. I'm going to save that question and you can continue to ask questions. And it's just a beautiful platform to do formative assessments. I highly recommend it. There's so much you can do with it. There's so many tutorials actually within Quizzes. By the way, for all of these platforms we've shared with you today, there are lots and lots of different tutorials out there on the actual website, which is why we've linked them in on these slides. So do go back to them. Of course, you could do so many different things in reflection. Reflection is so important. We need to give our students an opportunity to reflect on their goals and think about ways in which they learned throughout the whole process. So going back, please feel free to review your template again. Try to create your own. We want to see those templates on this on the Padlet wall. When you get a chance, share your HyperDocs. No pressure on the time. Go at your own pace, right? We're personalizing learning for you. So please feel free to go at your own pace. And the extension activity is really about extending our student minds. When students have finished their work, rather than saying draw a picture, we've all seen it, draw a picture or help somebody else. What more can we do? Can we get kids creating with tools like this? Can we get them wondering? Wonderopolis is a really amazing platform. Check it out. Students can type in a topic. They might type in dogs because they love dogs, and they can learn more about dogs, right? They can look at different wonders about dogs, and there's such creative and engaging articles on Wonderopolis that it would be a shame if you didn't check it out. And then there's, of course, other platforms that you might check out. You might bring some computer science into it, or even some TED Ed videos. Speaking of extension, there's multiple different websites, but the one I want to highlight the most is hyperdocs.co, which was created by the HyperDoc people that created HyperDocs in the first place. There's so many samples on there of HyperDocs as well as templates, and I highly recommend that you look for them. Thank you so much. Here's information again. Please feel free to reach out. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so Dr. Sampson can close us out here.
Oh, excellent. I try to be as calm as possible, but I am just so excited. This is so amazing. So many great tools for any teacher out there, whether you're a first-year teacher or if you're in your 20, your 25, 30, and everything in between. These tools are amazing, and all you have to do is try them, and we promise you won't break them. So
I like
try
that.
them your best and keep going at it. And I'm going to share one last thing before we leave. And this is for our Kentucky teachers. And there we go. So for our Kentucky teachers, you can, let's see here. Let me exit out of there. There we go. Perfect. So for our Kentucky teachers, you have an opportunity to earn 1 semester hour of free graduate credit. 1 semester hour of free graduate credit. And this is how you do it. Basically, you can scan the QR code. This will be just for the Kentucky teachers out there. You scan the QR code and it takes you to a Google Doc and form. And you fill in information about what school you're in, what district, so we can authenticate that you are the Kentucky teacher that's going to get the free 1 semester hour graduate credit. And the way it works is you can basically, number one, go into capture what you learned, what are some aha moments. And then number two, you pick 6 things that you learned about today or previous sessions that we've had. And you go to flip.com, number 3, you go to flip.com. And you basically just open up a flip and you reflect on the 6 different things that you learned. So you make 6 different videos. One video might be on HyperDocs. Another video might be on quizzes. Another video might be on Edulastic. Another video might be on Wakelet. So you decide what really sparked your interest and you review that and you talk about it. You reflect on it. And then you put those into wakelet.com into a collection. And then you submit that for your 1 free semester hour of graduate credit. The cost is already covered for you. It's already taken care of. And the reason why we do this is number 5. It creates this 1.5 learning effect size, which is collective teacher efficacy. We're all working on stuff together. And 1.2 effect size of jigsaw. How do we jigsaw information to make it work for our classroom? And that is way above the 0.4 marker that's out there that says you're going to move the needle. So these activities will be great to use in your classroom. So all you have to do is capture, curate, and share them and earn your 1 free semester hour of graduate credit. So with that said, we have about 20 seconds left and we are going to leave the studio and we're going to start another session on the other side. Curate your heart out. So we'll catch up with you guys in about 10 seconds. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.